Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Keely Denenberg. I'm Senior VP of Client Solutions at Orange Grove Consulting. Today, I am joined by Dr. Jodi Detjen, Managing Partner at Orange Grove. And Jodi, today we're talking about organizational assessment and organizational redesign. We're going to break this into two conversations. The first one will be right now. For those of you watching, if you want to hear about how the redesign works, check our YouTube channel to see that video. So, Jodi, we will sometimes be asked by organizations to do an overall assessment of how their organization is working. Tell me a little bit about what that entails and why this is something that certain companies and groups want.
Yeah. So I think the way you have to think about it is we use a methodology that we've developed really around the five core areas of an organization: leadership, culture, people, processes, and performance. And so what you want to do is you want to analyze each of those five components and then look holistically about how these five components interact. So, for example, you might do a leadership assessment, a 360, to really see how leaders are evaluated and seen by others within their organization. Then you do a cultural assessment. Engagement survey can be a good sense of a culture survey. You could look at culture across multiple years to see how the culture has shifted. People, you're going to look at what are the roles that we have and how well do people's skill sets match those roles. Processes are really about what do we do as a business? How do we get things done? And you're really there looking at efficiency and effectiveness of outcome. And then performance is how well do we achieve our organizational objectives? How well are we achieving our strategy? And so what you're looking at in all these cases is where is it that we want to be? Where we all are today? And then you're looking at that gap and determining how much of that gap you actually want to close. And then how much of it is actually close to where you already are being successful. So the five areas again are leadership, culture, people, processes, and performance.
And so, specifically, when we do an assessment like this, what's the deliverable we're giving an organization?
I think what you're getting multiple deliverables. So, for example, on the leadership, you're getting a series of 360s where individual leaders are being assessed. And so then you can look at that from a holistic organizational perspective, and you can also look at that from an individual leadership perspective. The culture, again, you're looking at this at an organizational holistic view. What does our culture look like? What are the different component parts of that culture? For example, the level of psychological safety, the level of comfort with which people feel like they can bring themselves to work. These are aspects of the culture. How well we hold each other accountable, how fast we make decisions. With the people, you're really looking at, all right, what are the roles that we have and what are the skill sets we need, and compare that with what the skill sets that people have. And you're looking at this holistically, usually by department areas where you're going to see it at the more micro level. And then processes, that area takes a longer time because that you literally have to break down all the different processes that you're doing and then try to figure out what are the objectives of each of them. So that's almost our process redesign, which is the next piece that we'll talk about. And then performance is you're really looking at your KPIs. So what are the key performance indicators that we have set for each of our organizations, and how well have we been meeting those KPIs over the course of our years? Many organizations don't even have KPIs. So performance may be, we don't measure it, so therefore we just have to build it. It may be, let's look at the performance evaluation system and see how effective it is telling us what those performance needs are. So some of it may be a simple gap in measurement that we are identifying because there isn't enough information to actually do the assessment. Where there is information, we again go back and say, all right, here's what the KPI was, and here is how often you met those KPIs, for example. So you get a
Got it.
variety of different tools to measure it.
Great. Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and check to our YouTube for part two of this conversation and more conversations like this one.